Welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. It's been 10 seasons of hand-holding small businesses and entrepreneurs such as yourself and enabling you in your growth journey. I'm Sunanda Jayaseelan. We're bringing you our Leaders of Tomorrow Hangout edition, where we're traveling to campuses across the country, asking young people what's top of mind for them across different themes and topics. Today we are in Kolkata to talk about mental health and wellness. What does it mean for India's young people? Are enough people understanding what it means? Are they reaching out? Are they comfortable reaching out? Especially as all of them are just poised to enter the world of entrepreneurship and also the corporate world. We are here at the Sister Nivedita University in Kolkata, speaking with students and interacting with experts from different fields. Let me in fact at this point introduce them. Dr. Partha Sarathi Ganguly, founder Bengali Entrepreneurs Club, chief mentor saraswationline.com, Dr. Era Datta, psychiatrist, founder Mind Wellness, and Professor Dr. Minal Pareek, head of department, School of Mass Communication and Journalism, Sister Nivedita University. Professor Meena, Dr. Partha, Dr. Era, so good having you here, and so good having all the students who are joining us here at the Sister Nivedita University here in Kolkata, talking all things mental health, mental awareness, why it's important, and great to have the three of you, of course, representing, bringing in the expert angle, bringing in the doctor angle, the mental health angle, talking about what entrepreneurs today are discussing, talking about what young people today have to say about mental health. And of course, I understand there are a lot of questions here in the audience. So we are going to open it up for all of you. Ask your questions, whatever's top of mind. And our experts, I'm sure, will answer you to the best of their ability. But first of all, thank you once again to the three of you for joining us. Before we talk about mental health, why it is important, and what really are the conversations that are happening, that's what we're trying to understand today. Let me come to you first, Professor Meenal. If you can just very briefly introduce yourself for the sake of our audience, not the students here, of course, they're your students, but for our audience which is going to be watching this later on ET Now.
Yeah, so I've been an ex-journalist, and also today I head the Mass Communication and Journalism department at Sister Nivedita University. So apart from academics, we also conduct all the digital live programs in Kolkata, industry based. So that is my role, very small role, but yes, trying to, even if I can affect one student life, I would be happy.
Fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Dr. Partha?
Yeah, I'm Partha Sarathi Ganguly, and I'm an educationist. I work for a company which is an education service provider, providing higher education in the global arena. And my recent initiative is to inculcate entrepreneurship among youngsters. So I'm dealing with budding entrepreneurs as well.
And you're then at the right place. So we'll want to, and we'll ask you as well, not just on mental health, but entrepreneurship for young people as well. But Dr. Era, you're someone who does a lot when it comes to the public space, talking and advocating for mental health.
Absolutely. My name is Dr. Era Datta, and I'm an MD Psychiatry, MBBS. I'm a consultant psychiatrist, and that's my day profession. By night, I'm actually a mental health ninja because I fight stigma, especially on social media. And I think Gen Z and Millennial are the main crowd which really resonate with mental health. So even before we are opening up the topic of mental health, I want everyone here to realize that mental health is something that we don't talk enough about, right? It's not talked about in books. There's no special period in school for it. So we're going to change that, and we're going to talk about mental health.
Fantastic. And even before we go any further, actually, and we were discussing this offline, till very recently, until I had to do my own research to understand what's the difference between a psychologist, a difference between a psychiatrist, a counselor. I don't know. Do all of you know the difference? Do you know the meaning? Do you know how it works? Okay, I see a lot of heads nodding no. And I'm sure a lot of people have these doubts and questions. What are the differences? Tell us about that.
So even before that, everybody close your eyes. And now pick up one finger and tell me, when you go to an ENT, that is ear, nose, throat doctor, what part of your body do you show? So point. Okay, when you go to an orthopedic, that's the bone doctor. What part do you show? Now when you go to an eye specialist, what do you show? Now when you go to a mind specialist, what do you show?
Thoughts.
Where is your mind? That's your brain.
Thoughts.
How do you show your thoughts? Right? So the biggest thing is, mental health expert is an umbrella term for many, many specialists. Psychiatrists are medical doctor. So we go to MBBS and 5.5 years of that. Then we get into MD, just like your dentist or your orthopedic or your surgeon, gynecologist, the doctors I was describing. They go to medical school for their MD. We do too. And we can prescribe, we can diagnose, and we can do therapy, all three. Next section is psychologists, people who go to masters for psychology. So they could do BSc or they could do BA and then MA, MSc. Some do PhD, MPhil. Now they are the psychologists. In that also there's clinical and there's counseling psychologists. And the term therapist is a loose umbrella term that we use because there are many kinds of therapies. But mental health professionals help with all kinds of mental health issues. So that's my way of explaining in a nutshell.
Fantastic, fantastic. Professor, you've been on this side, if I can, on the other side, if I can call it that, working so closely with young students for how many years now?
More than a decade.
More than a decade. Do these conversations around mental health, are they happening organically? More and more are students and young people are open to having these conversations and actively seeking help if they need it?
I think now they have started to open up. Otherwise, it was always a stigma. And when they come to university, I'm just talking at university level, because when they come from school to college, they were into a very protected environment. So when they come to university, it's like protected, but we expect them to be mature, but they're not that mature. And they make new friends, and we think that very trivial issues that happens with them, we think it's trivial, but it's not trivial. For them, it's like very serious, not being able to make friends, not being able to express, not being able to gel, not being able to talk properly. The communicative English is weak. That itself can, pose a lot of problem with them. Before it was a stigma, and as talking specifically of West Bengal, kids are grown in a very protective environment. So when that protection goes off, it becomes difficult. So
which is also happening at a time when they're entering college, university. So that itself is a big change.
But I think that since even at academics, we are talking about it. So they are getting comfortable now that they are talking with us. They are sharing very trivial issues because they thought that this is very trivial issue. Why should we share with our professors? But now they've started to come up. Even parents are very supportive now. They do take care that if the kid is being bullied, if the child is being bullied, they do share with us, and then and we have a clinical psychologist who does talk one-to-one to these students. So they've started to open up, but yes, it's still a taboo.
Okay,
it is.
That's very important, having someone who's available for these sessions, and we were talking about that. Dr. Partha, I will ask you one question and then we'll start taking questions from our students. So since we're talking about whether more and more people are getting comfortable really talking about mental health issues and just mental health, since you work so closely with the entrepreneurship side really of what is happening here in West Bengal and in Kolkata, do you feel that there is enough importance paid to mental health as far as entrepreneurs are concerned?
Still the ecosystem is not so structured here for entrepreneurs. When they go to work for a company or when they are in the university, they are in a structured platform. But being an entrepreneur, you're out on the open sea. And because largely the population is middle class in India, failures in the economic front is not very well accepted. It becomes a personal problem, as if he has done a crime of failing in a business. So these kind of agonies and worries are very much there for the entrepreneurs. I think these need to be addressed. We have recently formed a club to support the entrepreneurs with this, fighting this mindset, and also be a support ecosystem for them. Just handling this, yes, we are there. We are there to hear you. Like parents, supportive parents, what they do? They do not provide solution every time, but they hear the children out and be with them. So we have formed this Bengali Entrepreneurs Club only to be with the entrepreneurs. And I think this is very much required because many young people are very much keen to do business. They have understood that, everybody wants to be wealthy and rich. And there's only one way to be rich, honestly, is business. So, and businessman is a very, very important part of the society. He serves the society. He doesn't look for color, creed, religion. It caters to his customer, the need provider, the solution provider. As I was telling Dr. Eda, she's the solution provider for mental health problems we have today. So, businessman is always a solution provider. Look at this university. Your Professor Satyam Chaudhary is a great entrepreneur. So, like this, entrepreneurs, we have problems to start with. But there are a lot of solutions, and we need to, you have done a very good show that we need to address the mental problems. Particularly, we should not dissuade the youngsters who wants to come to business.
Sure.
Giving you one more cue, the world leaders countries are USA, Japan, China, economically, if you go. And where have they risen from? Enterprise. So India has to be entrepreneurial. Even our, the leaders, everybody is speaking about that, and you should take cue. And thank you so much for organizing this show. I think mental health for budding entrepreneurs is an issue, and we should do something about that. So they should not be left alone.
Yeah. I'm going to slip in a short break on that note. We're back in just a moment. Do stay tuned. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow Hangout Edition. We're coming to you from the Sister Nivedita University in Kolkata. I think we have some questions coming in. Do you want to introduce yourself, ask your question? Go ahead.
My name is Fawzia Naz and I'm from PG batch, from Mass Communication Journalism Department. So my question is, we feel sometimes like it's not a good way, we feel bad. But how do we know that we feel bad or it's a mental illness?
Mental health isn't good or bad. It's so many rainbow colors. So it's not black and white. When we say I'm feeling so bad, I'm feeling so good, what about in between? We're ignoring the in-betweens, right? There's so many neutral spaces. So speaking of good or bad, if you want to take in that context, typically if you're working well, if you're chit-chatting with your friends, if you're enjoying, if you're eating well, sleeping well, you're saying, oh, everything is going well in my life, right? I refrain from saying good and bad categorically because that's what we do, right? Now, if you are feeling down and about for many days at a stretch, not just one day because my friend didn't speak to me, but for many days at a stretch. It doesn't have to be 24/7, of course. If your sleep and appetite is getting affected, that's a major one. Sleep and appetite is the hallmark of everybody's good health, right? If you're finding yourself more irritable than usual, so typically, we snap sometimes, but a lot more. If you're finding extremely negativistic thoughts like, I don't want to live on, and I want to say the trigger warning word here that, sometimes we feel suicidal and sometimes we want to act on it. These are clear hallmarks of mental health getting worse and needing help. Even anxiety for that matter. What I just described was depression, broadly. Yes. We use the term so loosely, oh, my favorite team lost, I'm so depressed. No, you're sad, and which is okay. You have every right to be sad. Oh, I got like 10 marks lesser than what I should have and I'm depressed. No, you're not depressed, you're sad, right? So let's identify emotions better. That's step number one. And number two, if you're feeling very different than how you usually feel for a long time, please seek help.
More questions coming in. Yeah, you have the mic. Go ahead.
Thank you, Itina, for such a wonderful discussion. This is Akash from Mass Communication Department, PG batch. So my question is, in this era of social media, how today's youth can counter the negative psychological impacts of that? So we are suffering for a lot of that. So how can we counter that? That's my question. It's open to anyone can answer.
Make sure you create more than you consume, which is very important. We're scrolling endlessly. I've seen like 1,000 YouTube recipes for how to make biryani, ek bhi nahi banaya. So the idea is make it, right? And if you're on social media consuming others' media, you're actually just trying to compare yourself and emulate what they're doing. Create something of your own. People don't like it, doesn't matter. You are creating. So that's one great way to reduce the comparison, reduce the negativity around social media and all of that.
Do you want to add to that, Professor?
Yeah, I would say that, since this is a mass communication department, so, it's important for them, to create content. So there the challenge comes. You know, I see daily, you know, that they follow each other's Instagram profile, how many likes they have, how many followers they have. So I am not good at that, you know, that person can do, but I cannot do. So yeah, not only, you know, on personal front, I think professional front also, you know, it hits them that, you know, maybe they are not that savvy. You know, everybody does not come from a proper city, you know. West Bengal has district areas also where students, you know, probably this is the first time they're using a smartphone. So, you know, the pressure is always there that, see, we are going digital, so you have to go digital all the time. So I think there, you know, we have to be a little considerate and, you know, give them that much of space and time to learn and grow with time, and not to forget that if you can write well, that is also a strength. So just don't get swayed away by that, you know, everybody's on social media. So those who write or those who can talk or those who are good speakers, they also have a lot of space to expose themselves there.
And I really like your principle that be content creators more than people who are just consuming it. Hopefully that works for all of you. Any other questions? Anyone else? Yeah.
My name is Riya Shah and I am from PG Batch 2. It's an open question for all. Even after spreading so much awareness, mental awareness regarding mental health, and over 9 crore Indians suffering from mental health problems, still mental health isn't considered as important as physical health. Even though we know that mental health also affects physical health at the end of the day, still it isn't given that much importance. So how can we deal with that, and how can this thing change, and how and when will people actually start considering mental health as equal to physical health?
Mental health is a situation which is probably aggravated or caused by your ecosystem or your surroundings or the situation you are in. For this mental trauma also, there are some natural solutions in our system. We have a good friend, we have a mother, we have a father, we have an elder sister, or we have somebody next door who is very close to me. I go and speak, so it gets. So that's why that physical solution providing is not to that extent, because the problem lies in our system and the solution lies in our system also. But if it is aggravated, like it is serious, then you need domiciliary hospitalization is not enough. Then you go to a hospital, something like that, you go to a clinic and get yourself checked up. So that is coming up. So that ecosystem is also developing more and more. You know, these what we call is the psychologists, practicing psychologists or psychotherapists and counselors, they are coming up. I think Madam can add further.
I'd really beg to differ. We have very few mental health professionals for the amount of population that we are. When I started off, we were actually 2 for so many X lakh, and now it's coming up, of course. We as a psychiatrist body have been growing over the years as well, which people would not want to take psychiatry back in the day. So my answer in a way would be the change that you want to see. Now, if your friend wants to go to a mental health professional, don't dissuade them. Don't say, मुझसे बात कर ले यार, forget about it. Get over that breakup, right? Don't be that friend. If you know someone who's taking medication, don't frown upon it. Don't say, oh my God, that person's taking medicine. How is that possible? If somebody dies by suicide, you're the journalists of the future, you're the mass comm students. Address it with a lot of dignity. If somebody suffered a big trauma, learn to hide the names properly. These are the changes that you all can bring about, right? Be on social media and not only just share about, you know, okay, just reposting a post or a tweet. Just advocate good content as well. Or, you know, talk to people and understand that what do other people go around having. Empathy is a very important skill for our future, right? So there's a lot of change we can do. I think for starters, what we're doing today is also a change, and this makes a dent in the entire system.
I'll just add, because, you know, most the students spend their life, you know, outside their home with their teachers, with their professors, with their friends. I think we just need to break this taboo and be open to listen. That is very important. People don't want to listen to them, you know, and they just shove them away.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I just have a follow-up question for you, Dr. Partha. And, you know, as someone who's an entrepreneur and is so well connected here in West Bengal and in Kolkata, do you feel that there's enough? Now, yes, there's attention by the central government as far as mental health is concerned, but do you feel there's enough done at an institutional level for businesses and for entrepreneurs?
No.
What more would you like to see?
First of all, there should be societies and clubs and, you know, communities of entrepreneurs at various level, various geographic level, trade vertical level, so that they can intermingle with them. And peers are a very big solution for these kind of initial troubles. Ability to share with somebody without any fear or without any favor my problem, and somebody listens a lot, because the answer to a question lies in the question itself. We have to read it many times, and in this case we have to share with somebody repetitively. So if we can do that, our problem gets resolved to a large extent. And then of course we have the professionals to help us, whether with some kind of psychological, what is called that verbal sessions that you do as a counseling, or you administer medicine. Sure. So that help is always there. But I think more community should be developed, particularly among the entrepreneurs. They are left absolutely at their own the mercy of the world, nobody to protect them, particularly the youngsters. And particularly when they come from a middle class background where everybody is working somewhere, say everybody is in government job. So you are in the private sector, you are doing business, you are a black sheep of the family. These kind of mental is still there. So if these can be removed, and these can be only removed by association, where people are from the same background, they can understand and relate to. If I am working in a government office, I really cannot understand the problem of an entrepreneur. Or even for her, she is an entrepreneur herself, if she is practicing. So she is an entrepreneur. She also has her own issues, own problems,
Absolutely.
own competition. So only another entrepreneur will be able to understand. So I think that can be done. And you are doing a very good job.
Thank you. That's all we could put into this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, if you know anyone who's perhaps dealing with some mental health issues and you're looking for help, here's how you can reach out. Our contact details are on your screens. We promise to connect you with the experts who join us on the show today. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.